Peace and blessings. So my name is Lisa Marie Goodson of the Afrocentric Home Decor and Style channel. And I am a designer and decorator, and I specifically design in an Afrocentric aesthetic. And it's interesting that I have to say specifically because I think it's actually quite natural for me to want to teach people how to bring themselves into their space. I always, since I was a little kid, I remember telling my husband that I used to visualize, like when I was like 11 or 12 years old, about like the man I would marry and the house that I would have and live in. And I visualized that I would be married to an Afrocentric brother. I don't know if I even knew that word. I think that I would have said an African-inspired or African-like brother. And I saw our house with having beautiful original paintings and artifacts and beautiful mudcloth pillows. And I wanted this life. And then I remember discovering, this is right before I discovered B. Smith. And once I got older and I discovered B. Smith, I was like, oh my God, that thing that I visualized, that thing that I dreamed of actually is coming true. Like B. Smith with style, you know, she was she made furniture, first black woman to have a major furniture line in a major store. She did cooking, and she was helping with different organizations. She worked with the Diabetes Society. And I just thought, oh my gosh, look right here, somebody that looks like me, that is talking about the things that we talk about, that are interviewing our people. And even though she had people of other races and cultures, it was so nice to see her. She was such a reflection as a little young dark-skinned girl. She was a dark-skinned, beautiful model woman. At one point, remember towards the end, she got locks in her hair. It was beautiful, and I was really wanting to be that. And I think what I liked most about, I mean, somebody might ask, like, okay, Afro inspired, you said when you was like young. I was. Where did you get that from? My mother, we didn't have a lot of African things, but we had nothing of European. There was no, white God. There was no white angels, not even on our Christmas tree. Like, we never had it. We didn't even have to talk about kind of we're being black. It was natural and normal. And I think we've lost that naturalness of just, we're black, so our stuff are black. We have black angels. I remember these black masks. And it was a friend of ours. We call him our uncle. His name was Jerry. And Jerry had this beautiful beautiful facial features, right? And but we were kids, so when we used to see the masks, they were ebony wood, and they were two, and they were black, and the lips were beautiful and huge, because Jerry was known for his lips. And we used to be like, oh, Ree, you got it. My mother's name was Marie. It was like, oh, Ree, you got a picture of Jerry. Oh, we thought it was so cool. We just laughed so much. We loved those. And that was always reminding me. And then she would teach us about black history, and we would have books like the Black Book in our home. We would have books like Ida Van Sertima they came before Columbus, from slavery. We had different books from different authors. So books about Africans in Ethiopia and Kemet, Egypt at that point. And it surrounded us. It literally surrounded us. And that's when I knew that I want a house that could reflect all the things that I've heard, that I read, that I saw. And it took me a while to get to this point, as you'll see, but I'm so glad that I'm here. So I think my husband want to ask me some questions.
Good afternoon, Lisa Marie.
Good afternoon, Warren.
And welcome to In Our Own Image.
Thank you.
What I'd like you to explain to people is, what is Afrocentric design and decor? Yeah. How would you describe it?
That's a great question, because it is different than other design and decor, right? I mean, when a lot of you watch HGTV or you see other design shows, and you'll hear them say things like, modern or mid-century or traditional, right? Well, Afrocentric home decor, believe it or not, can be all of those things, because it came before any of those things. We were literally the first people of the earth. And as first peoples of the earth and of the world, right, we actually create what we needed. So we always had artifacts, because artifacts at one point were not used to hang up on wherever you lived. It wasn't necessarily that we lived in big old stupid houses, right? Big crazy houses, like really, that's nothing wrong with that. But we had tools that we used. So we would use our clay pots, or we would use our tools to eat with, or our tools to carve with. So those kind of things precedes all kinds of eras of design because we were here first. So we had bowls, we had combs right here, we had, like I said, tools to work better, to eat better, and to live better. And those become what we, as today, Afrocentric decor or decorators use to design a home. So, so why Afrocentric, or how did I get into Afrocentric home decor? What was the question again, baby? What is it? Yeah, so yeah. Right, so.
What's the meat of it?
Yeah.
And I also heard you mention functional.
Right.
Well.
Yeah, so I think, and that's it. That's the meaning of it. To me, it is things that African people really used in their house for one thing or another, and probably for more than one thing. So it's a style of paintings or decor. It's a style of items that have multi-purpose. So they're there for aesthetic reasons because they look beautiful, but they also make you feel good. Or they make you feel, they lift your esteem. For us today, Afrocentric home decor really is about putting Africa in the center. So anytime you put Africa in the center of your home, so Africa in the center, what would that look like? African masks is Africa in the center. Africa in the center is black paintings of black people in the center. Even Africa in the center, though, in a lot of ways in the diaspora, is Africa. Who am I? I'm an African American woman. You may be a Caribbean woman. You may be in all parts of the diaspora. So you're bringing in your pictures of your family. That's Afrocentric home decor. You're bringing in the cotton. So you're telling a story of the journey of your people. That is Afrocentric home decor. So how many ways can you tell the story of your people? Whether it's from the people of Zaire with Kuba cloth, or whether it's from the people of Mali that create the mud cloth and other parts of the world. So you're telling I would say a cosmic in a lot of ways stories. But even by, I mentioned earlier, the books. So having black books, whether it's Black Titan, the story about A.G. Gaston, one of the first black millionaires in the United States, or storybooks, or picture books, or the wonderful book by the Gullah Images by Jonathan Green. So all of that is Afrocentric home decor. It's the image of us. It is the written language of us. It is the music of us. It is the patterns, the colors of us. And they all tell a story, and they're multi-purpose. Afrocentric is different. Most people wouldn't think of, maybe Europeans wouldn't think of using a comb to put on their wall as decorations, but our comb has always been, our picks have always been about style and beauty and texture and design and stories, even the lines on the pillow. The pillows tell a story of our journey. And so using like a Pix on the wall, or, you know, as my husband, Afro Sheen pictures or inserts, basically they're pages that you pulled out of a magazine. You can now take that and put it on something called Masonite and put it on the wall. So Afrocentric is really bringing us in all our many forms. That's so what it is.
Our current us, African, being in America.
Yeah.
As well as the classic African art as well. And
that's such a good way, a question. I'm so glad you said that because it should be specific. You're right. I think that people might think, well, I have to have only pieces from the continent of Africa, and that makes it Afrocentric. But the word Afro is really a joining in of all African people throughout the diaspora. So my husband was asking a great question. It's so important to bring in your experience as an African, and for us as Africans in the U.S. So yes, it's both.
Another thing you mentioned is an inexpensive way to do that, because we know a lot of African art and artifacts masks can be expensive for the average budget. So how do you include that on a budget, kind of?
Well, that's a great question, especially me being a designer. So when I go around to my client, if I get a client, they call me, either I can do it virtually, where we have a consultation, or I can go to their homes and specifically evaluate the place. And one thing, the first thing you really want to know is what kind of budget are you working with? Some people have a budget that is a specific amount. Some people have a budget per room. But some people have a budget where they want to spend money on the bigger items, so the sofa, right, the couch, the dresser, the bed, right? And then they want to find a more inexpensive way to bring color, texture, and style of Afrocentricity to their home. So ways to do that. We just named one way is taking go finding the Ebony magazine or an Essence magazine or Life has some of our images on it as well. Sometimes you'll find our images in even other magazines. So you take the image of us, Jet, whatever it is, you can take like my husband mounts those, he gets the paintings or actually the pictures or the inserts or the pages from a magazine. He puts it up on something called Masonite, and we'll definitely show you what that looks like. But you can also take a print and put them in a frame.
Calendars.
And right, you can take calendars. So a lot of us, I always talk about women of the African arc. My husband has plenty of them. Some people might even get an old secondhand book that they don't mind taking out the pictures from that and putting them in a very inexpensive frame. No one would know. They'll be so captivated by the image inside the frame that they won't even think about the frame. And the frame really, the image to me builds and makes the frame very beautiful. But you can do very simple things. You might want to start off, you might not be able to get a 6 foot, we got some in here, a 6 foot artifact or a statue, but you might be able to get figurines. And that's a wonderful way to bring in that feeling of Africa or Afro or America, African American into your home as well. So there's a lot of little ways. Baskets, my husband and I talked about this. If you had, we had a client that has very dark cabinets in her kitchen. Actually, they were black. And so what was the way to bring in the Afrocentric, that kitchen was color and baskets. So you use a twofold. Africans are known for our rich colors, but we're also known for our baskets. So we have the best storage solutions. Only our baskets now become not just something to hold something in, but to actually just be pieces of art. So just think about baskets and magazines and frames and figurines and pillows, and you can really bring it into your home.
Yeah, another question that came up while you were talking. What about if there is no, let's say you have a bigger budget, would you recommend buying, well, let's start here. First of all, the collection pieces, or even the Gullah Geechee makes is famous for their baskets and the quilts. Right.
Yes. I think about that. I think that because a lot of us have more of a budget than we might think. And let's talk about purchasing those bigger items. But first, my husband's question is right. I think that if you have more of a budget, and my husband did this, and he can show you, when he didn't have a big budget, he went to magazines and he put them on the wall with a thumbtack. When he made a little more money, he started going to eBay. He started going to Amazon. Well, Amazon's more new, but yeah, eBay, Amazon, Etsy now, and buying from vendors. So I say if you had $400 to $5,000, I would buy the big pieces. I would start collecting. I would start collecting masks. I would start collecting real big artifacts. I would also collect artwork. And I mean original artwork. So prints in the beginning, and then eventually buying artwork, because now you have value. They're gonna last for lifetimes. You can pass them down from generation to generation, right? And you can move them. And if you wanted to change your space up, you don't have to go out and buy a whole bunch of art again. If you have a lot, you can actually change them and move them in different places in your home. I recommend really buying the big pieces and saying, maybe I'll even forego the smaller stuff in order to get these masks or this figurine or these statues or these beautiful artifacts. And also, remember we talked about Afrocentric, so quilts, it's worth it to spend the money, and some of them can go into the thousands, but they got a lot of them now from a couple of hundred and up. I would definitely invest in the bigger pieces, and people notice. It brings a certain kind of level of class and sophistication. It looks very expensive. So let's say, like, remember I talked about modern, traditional, mid-century? Well, you could Afrocentric your home in a modern style. Modern style just means the clean style. You don't want a lot. So think about, you just spend $4,000 to $5,000 on some big figurines. Because I think, honey, those are about $5,000 if you add them up together, right? So and of course we're going to show it, that's such a standout piece that if you had a clean line couch with some pillows on it, that would be the centerpiece, and some plants.
Or even the head, the sculpture.
That's another piece. Was that another what? $25,000, another $5,000 piece. Stands that could be in the middle of your room. So in the so-called Eurocentric style, they like to have, a lot of us was stolen from our choices of decorating, where they had those columns and they had the head that sat on the column. Well, you can have that as well in your own home and still have a very clean home. Get some cotton, like I said, a few pillows on there, some beautiful throw rugs on the floor, and baskets. And you would still have a beautiful home and expensive. So if you could, I say go for the gusto, get the good stuff. Because what I see with home decor, why is it different? This is why Afrocentric home decor is so different to me, is people buy what is in trend, what is on trend. People buy what's in style. People buy what's in the home stores. And it's designed just for that. You have no real connection to it. You wasn't in love with it. It was almost like a subliminal, I call it, purchase. You keep seeing it enough, you want it enough. I said that, what everybody gonna do with them pineapples? I knew after a while, I said that's them pineapples. The store now giving them, we went to after Christmas, those pineapples, they was giving them away because nobody wants it. You throw it away. Nobody else wants it because it wasn't meaningful. When you buy a piece of African art, you will not throw it away.
Yeah, and you mentioned earlier that you can hand it down. So
yes,
therefore you're saying, okay, you can create an heirloom, a family heirloom that could be passed down generation to generation. So
absolutely.
Do you think that's important as well?
I think it's very important. I think it's very important to think about purchasing for the generations to come. Because I think that you're not going to be here forever, and you want to leave them something that everybody knows from 5 generations from you are going to know that your great-great-great-great-grandmother, this was special. It makes people feel good to have a piece of our ancestors with them, and it actually builds a lot of strength and pride. You see how different your children move. Well, let's talk about it if you was to have an Afrocentric decor designer coming to your home, because this is what I want you to understand. So, what is the purpose of a designer, an Afrocentric decor or decorator coming to your home? And I'm going to bring it home to you and why these pieces are so important. Why would you hire me? Maybe there's a couple of reasons why you would hire me. You would hire me because you are not sure of what pieces and where they are, what pieces to choose, why you choose them, and where they are. So a decorator could actually help you because they sit down and listen to who and what you are and what your style is. It's very, very important that she hears you, but also she is the professional in the sense that she's going to be able to find what you want and bring more of you into your home. What does that do immediately by seeing yourself all the time? It really raises your self-esteem. It makes you feel good about yourself and all the occupants in the home. So your children, you don't, like in my house, we didn't have to say that Santa Claus was going to be black or that the angel was going to be black, right? We never had, or the ornaments were going to be black. It was never a conversation. It was what was expected because it was already in the home. So you don't even have to talk a lot. Your kids see it. Now they see different pieces, and when you pass, they know that they're going to get it. So now they grow up seeing these pieces that's going to be there for life. Remember, you're buying pieces to last you a lifetime and not just yours, but many others. So it's a lot of reasons why you would want it and a lot of reasons why you would want somebody to come in and do it for you because they're going to know where to find it and the best prices. And also you're supporting other black folks that are artisans, are artists, and you're creating a legacy. And also, and most important, you're creating wealth. You're actually creating, these are assets. So now you'll be able to later leave them to other people. So yeah, but you should get a designer. You should get somebody that comes in that really cares.
Okay, tell me how this works. I'm interested in your services. Mm-hmm. So how would I go about
good question.
Getting a hold of you? And,
right.
And what's the steps we will go through?
Yeah, I love it. I think about my clients when they do get in touch with me. They say these are things they say. I need help designing my home in an Afrocentric style, right? And I say, okay, first let me see your home. Because, and tell me what you want. Let me tell you what's a little different about me being a designer, other people. I definitely bring in a spiritual aspect. You cannot buy African masks or deities and not understand the spiritual connotation of every single thing that was built. I mean, like you said, there's African artists or artifacts that there's no name, there's no signing of the name of the artist because they don't believe that it's theirs. It comes from the creator. So now it's yours. So first of all, I want to get to know, do you want a partnership? Are you trying to build a communal space? Do you want a space that you want, this is your first new space, or you come out a lot of chaos and you want a space that represents something cozy and small? Do you want to promote family? So I'll talk about round tables as opposed to square tables, right? So this is why people come to me. So I first take into account what you want to feel when you walk in your home. It's not just you want to feel good about being African. That's a given. That's going to happen. What do you want to feel? Are plants important to you? Are they not? You don't have to have them, but you could. What kind of colors call to you? What kind of pictures? Do you like pictures of males, females? Do you think it's important to have both? So so that's what it is. First thing I do is I ask you about you. Then I get an idea of what kind of colors you like, but I also push you a bit. And that's what a designer can do. She can actually get you a little bit out of your comfort zone because you might be stuck on that blue is your favorite color when in actuality you don't even have that much blue in your house, or green, and you realize you could do more purple or orange. So a designer will push you a little bit past your comfort zone, and that's what you want. That's why you're hiring her or him, because you want them to think out the box in a way that you would not actually do. And also, so that's what you do. So I find out, who are you? What do you like? What do you want? And then I start suggesting things, bringing things in. But I do everything. I send you pictures of everything. And then we look at realistically your budget, right? And everybody can have a designer no matter your budget. Most good designers know how to do it. As Africans, whether we're in the diaspora or on the continent, we know how to make nothing and turn it into something. So I feel like that's one of my skills, is able to do that. And another thing is the importance of every single space in your house. Don't just think, some people say to me, well, I used to be into Afrocentric home decor, or I've gone away from that, now I do other things. But you're getting away from yourself. It's not, I almost think it shouldn't be a choice, and I know it's up to you. Y'all can disagree with me on this. This is something my husband and I talk about all the time. You can't run away from yourself. So it's best to embrace yourself, and you'll find that other people that are not of your culture absolutely are uplifted and love it as well. So I think there's a lot going on with Afrocentric design, because you're dealing with the human psyche, you're dealing with the African psyche on a good level, but you're also dealing with the African American and African Caribbean, all the enslavement and the self-hatred that we've had. So it's going to jaw at you. Can you deal with all of this? You don't have to have it all. You can have some. So it's a different kind of designing. That's why you want somebody that is sympathetic to your plight. I don't know if you would want to hire a European Afrocentric home decor designer. I don't know if she can understand why this is so important to you. And so you want somebody that's going to bring you all of those aspects, things that you would never have thought of. And sometimes when we're watching shows and we're getting ideas, your house is not that person's house. You're not that designer. And if you follow them, then you're going to get a bunch of pineapples and you're going to wish you didn't. So anyway, yeah, we can go. That's the importance of it. So that's what it looks like for me. You call me up, you get in touch with me, we evaluate, we bring in, we talk about what you really, really want. And and we make it happen.
Does it matter, is there a job too small or too large?
Good question. So there's differences. And you got to notice, this is very good. So if you were to book a 1-hour consultation, I'm going to tell y'all that's very initial, because it's true. If you getting one room decorated and then getting five is a big job. And it can be done, but definitely it's going to, of course, cost more because of so much involved. So think about it. I have a questionnaire on my website anyway that you can fill out, and it asks you what you want. You want 1 room, 2 rooms, 3 rooms, and what those costs will be for each room. So if you can only do a room, or at least get a designer to do a room, and then from there maybe you'll pick up ideas to do the rest. I'm open. I'm not that kind of person. You can do it. So always come with what is your budget and what's most important to you. If you want the whole room, the whole house, or the whole apartment, you can do apartments, you can do homes, because there's ways to do apartments where you're not going to mess with the rules of the tenancy that you have, your rental rules. But if you wanted to do more than one room, just indicate that and let me know. If you only can do one at a time, let's focus on the one room and keep going. But I do both. I do all of it, even the bathroom.
Should I, or can I decorate with regional art? Let's say I'm from Louisiana and or, Florida. Should I incorporate the artists from that area that reflect?
I think that would be beautiful. Yeah, like kind of local resources and of course local artists. I think that would be great. I mean, there's an artist that my husband and I met from Wilmington, and before he was Wilmington, North Carolina, which is off the coast. Before he even said that he was from Wilmington, the artwork he did was all reflective of somebody who lives off the coast. It was beautiful. Again, Jonathan Green is another artist he's a Gullah Geechee artist and proud of it. Like that's what he's known to do. And he does images of his place. So maybe you live in Savannah, beautiful history in Savannah, along the Sea Island, but maybe you're in Chicago, Illinois. I mean, it don't have to be, don't get lost that your beauty is not as beautiful as somebody else's. There was a big, huge Black Power movement in places like Chicago or New York. Some people really are into the Black Panther Party kind of thing with the Huey P. Newton posters, and you could actually have sections of regional, if you will, local art that tells a story about where you are. I totally think that would be lovely, as well as you might have a attachment. My husband and I, we love Gullah Geechee culture, so yes, we want the sweetgrass basket because that gives us a piece of that culture as well. So that's a great question. I would even add that don't be afraid to mix it. Don't sit here and say, I got to get all masks from Benin and none, and I got to get all my art has to be, modern. It's another thing. Or it has to be traditional, right? Or it has to be, no, it's whatever you want. People say to me all the time, I love Afrocentric art, but I'm too eclectic. It's the word that I hear a lot. I'm too eclectic to just stay with African art. But we're talking about a continent of many countries. We're talking about a diverse meaning that these are African people speaking different languages, similar cultures, but still different. So if you want to be eclectic, get a mask from Benin, get an artifact from Nigeria, get a mud cloth from Mali, some Kuba cloth from Zaire. I think you'll get where I'm going here. You can get some Moroccan style, North African stuff, all in the same house. So when we say we're eclectic, we have enough on the continent and off the continent to fill up a space. You can get art from Brazil. You can get art from different parts of Caribbean. Maybe you like a Jamaican artist. It's beautiful, wonderful Jamaican artist, or Trinidadian artist, right? So I mean, it's endless. So think about what you say when you say you're eclectic. Think about the idea of our continent has everything. My husband and I decorated this cotton right here. Inside the cotton, my husband had a great idea. He's like, you know what? Let's take some red dirt from the earth. Make it meaningful. The land that we own, that our ancestors probably slaved on, or yes, probably. We took the dirt and put it in the vase and stuck the cotton in the vase. So if you are eclectic, you think you're eclectic, then I think Afrocentric decorating is really for you. Because I think that it can be very eclectic, a lot of different things, but it's still all of us. And it really promotes a great unity. If you have that kind of vibe going, a unity amongst your people. So your Caribbean brother, your African American brother, your African brother, wherever they are, that's your brother and that's your sister. And that's what we really want to promote. So yeah.
Yeah, I see that you do have. Well, you're sitting on a couch made in America.
There you go.
But I notice all of your images are of people that look like you.
I say.
From all over the world.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact.
Yeah. All over the Black world.
All over the African world.
That's right.
And of course you can't get by
Well, I like what you said. Having this, but you want that too.
Yeah.
So let's talk about that, because my husband, thank you, he brought such a good point. I'm sitting on a European couch. Let's face it, an American couch. There's no doubt about that this is an American couch. So how do I Afrocentric the couch? And we talked about people buying the big, right, remember we talked about the big items. It's a great one. The big items. When I said buy a couch, I meant buy a couch you really like. I'm not talking about African couch. I'm buy the bed that you really like, right? We have that too. These are big pieces of furniture. It's made well. The other thing too, because a lot of us are out of or in the diaspora, we do have a liking to European clothes or even cuts, African prints, kind of Eurocentric cut. Nothing wrong with that. Contemporary. We might like contemporary furniture. Again, I tell you, some people love modern look and modern furniture, but the modern that's African. I do know that now when I see it, but we're just, clean lines. We're into clean lines too. But how do you then take this couch I bought it for comfort. How do I take a couch that's for comfort? I pair it with some mudcloth pillows, or you can get African prints pillowcases and put over your old pillows that you might not even like. So I do say it. So let me make sure I make that clear. Buy beautiful tables from wherever. Buy a desk from down the street. And then Afrocentric those things. I think the things that are important to buy African is your artifact. I don't know how you can buy European African artifact. I mean, I don't see, you can buy it in Europe, that's about it, but it's still African. So make sure you have African things around you, but enjoy the comforts of being in the countries that you live in. And the privilege in a lot of ways too, on some levels. So it means you have an accessibility to things that maybe other people don't, and there's nothing wrong with that.
And I see you started with your family. You have a lot of pictures with your family, or of your family.
Yeah.
So that's a way to begin reflecting
there you
who
go.
you are as well.
So simple.
Yeah.
So simple is the bare minimal is that you can put up pictures of your family. They look like you. They are from generation to generation. You can pass the pictures down too in the same frame and everything to your kids or your children or your offspring in some way. So that's a great way. Inexpensive frames, you can get them. We're still gonna shop. Let me say that too with y'all. Yes, I source. My main thing is I have a group of vendors that I work with. So I am sourcing mainly and primarily from African and African American vendors, whether that's where you get your Afrocentric table runner or your pillows or even your clothing, your head wraps. But I also will say I saw this at TJ Maxx. Buy this at Home Goods, because sometimes just the pricing, or they have African inspired looking things. So frames you can get from all the home stores. I mean, you can go as low as the Dollar Tree for $1, or you can go $2 or $3 or $4. After a while, they're gonna have them on sale. So definitely start looking. What you'll find once you start really getting into yourself as an African, what you'll find is that you'll start seeing Africa everywhere. You'll see it in everything. A lot of the Vietnamese furniture that these stores carry, these home stores carry, I know they got to deal with Vietnam because I saw it. They got to deal. But the Vietnamese stuff looks very Afrocentric. And remember, we were here first, and we passed that on, and other people kept the culture. And I'm serious, and that's a whole nother story, but there are some beautiful things to look for when you're talking about Afrocentric. And I think the reason why people hire somebody to do it is some people don't even know what that is. What is Afrocentric? What does it look like? How do I know that pillow, it's a feeling, but it is also it's something that you can look at. It's patterns, it's geometrics, it's something woven, and you do see it a lot. And actually, I can probably give you an example. I don't know if you can see this little table, this what do you call this, end table next to me. And my husband will show you some things. With that end table right next to me, it is an Afrocentric feel, even though I know that probably was made in Vietnam. Total Afrocentric feel. It has the lines, like the wave, the chevron, that chevron that you hear so much on these home decor shows, the chevron pattern, that's our pattern. That's an Adinkra symbol. So that OD, that representative, and anything like a chevron pattern represents waves. It's talking about the water. So it's really around us, and it's in everything. So Start there too if you can. If you just can go to a home store and instead of picking up the flamingo or the pineapple or whatever's trending, because there's always something, right? Pick up that thing that most people don't. Most people, when I go to Home Goods and all the other stores, the stuff that the Vietnamese kind of stuff or the stuff that looks Afrocentric, or now they just got Afrocentric stuff. Now they got African stuff in the stores. I just want to make that clear too. We bought this mudcloth stocking from Home Goods, but it's made in Africa, baby. We saw a beautiful basket from Ghana, straight up and down, because they have Indian stuff as well. We're in the stores. Most people overlook it. They don't even see it. There's always a lot. And once we start bringing it to the forefront, more people will actually start wanting it. But you have to be the one to have it because it's your responsibility and it makes you feel so dang good. And so, yeah, so I have resources to all kinds of vendors. So the first thing that I'm going to do is make sure that I give, you know what I'm going to send you to my vendors? They're going to give you a great price. So they're going to give you some discount code. Some cases it's free shipping, it's going to be. So they're going to be able to give you a better cost than maybe people that I don't know. But of course, I will also include those local places because if we're doing it virtually, a lot of people ask me, well, how does that work? I'm talking to you, then I'm having you go around your space. If you can do a videotape so I can really see the space, the size, the corners. Then I'm finding pictures, Afrocentric pictures, that to get an idea of what you like. So is it this color? Are we in the right direction? Is this the feel you want? Once we do that, then I start taking pictures of everywhere I go. If I see something that might fit in your space, I get the price, the name of the store, the name of the item. A lot of times these stores will, one Home Goods can ship to another one or straight to your house. Or I'll give you links to Etsy, eBay, stuff that I saw. But I'm constantly, our vendors list, my husband is my partner to go. So we kind of go in as a team. But our vendors list is constantly growing. So we're constantly adding more vendors to our list, and we share that with you as well. So today, you know, I don't know, we're filming this today on Kwanzaa. It's Kwanzaa, we're in the Kwanzaa holiday. And today is Ujamaa, and Ujamaa means cooperative economics. And it really is about, because this is a question. Afrocentricity, my husband asked a while, Afrocentricity is not about one thing. It's about your entire life. It's the way that you live. So it is Afrocentric to buy with your own people, to circulate with your own people. You know, a lot of people think, I got one thing in my house and I'm Afrocentric. Afrocentric is from, and this is no disrespect, this is, I'm gonna say Mulifi Asante from Temple University was the first one to coin the term Afrocentric. And his meaning of it was that it is Africa in the center of your entire life. So the way you wear your hair, the clothes that you wear, not all the time, of course you're gonna wear Eurocentric clothes, I'm not saying that. It's the way you think, it's the people you date, it's the communities that you're a part of. Afrocentricity, because if you're not careful, what's gonna happen is anybody can then be a part of it. And then you can be Asian and be Afrocentric, you can be this, so somebody's going to co-opt your stuff. They're gonna take what is yours. And also too, it's a lifestyle. It's a way of being and living. So Kwanzaa is a great way to bring in that idea of a lifestyle. Cooperative economics is not just for the third, fourth day of Kwanzaa. It should be every single day. So it changes you. You become a better human being for yourself, your people, and your community. And so I just want people to know that Afrocentric, as you start to delve deeper into it, there's going to be some changes around your home that you're going to want. And I got one thing I was thinking, it's the last thing I concluded. Now, people may say to you, this happened to my husband. He was doing this years and years ago when people really wasn't ready. And especially, I'm sure some of the people he knew wasn't ready. So they would come to his house and say, so you into this black stuff? What's all this black stuff? Why are you into all this black stuff? Nobody would ask an Asian when you go in their home why they into all this Asian stuff. Or even a Jewish person why they into all this Jewish stuff. You would expect them to be into what they are. And a lot of us are very afraid to be into all this black stuff, even though quite obviously we're black. So it's a reclaiming of you. I'm telling you, this is spiritual. It's going to change you. It's going to help you to embrace who you are. You're going to walk through the streets and walk through life a lot taller. And people are going to recognize that. It is you. So it's not a black thing. It's not militant. Don't be caring what people think. Let them know if they think a certain way, them probably ain't the people for you, and they won't be coming back to your house again. But I will say this, as a director, right? I am that too. A decorator, a designer, people come into our space and they don't want to leave. They love it. And it makes them love themselves. I've had conversations that I knew people for years I would have a conversation out there with them one way, their conversation would be one way. And after but when they come to the house, my husband be like, that's not who you describe. Be like, baby, it's all this stuff. All this stuff just changed them. And it can change you. So yeah, consider. So for those that don't know, I am a Afrocentric home decor designer. My husband and I work together. We are very proud to help other people create a beautiful environment that looks like them in their own image. In 2018, I'll be doing a lot more of that. I'm also a stylist as well. So I'm a personal stylist for those that want to bring more color. And I'll just cut that off a second. For those that want to bring more color into their lives, this is a wonderful way to do it. So I actually do one-on-one consultations for people that say, how do you do that? And how would that look on me? And how can I do that? And I would love to show you, would love to share with you, So let me introduce you to you. All right, so well, honey, is there any more questions?
No, I was going to ask you, but you already answered both of the actual questions. I was going to ask you, what you thought the essential part of Afrocentricity is, and I think you went over that, and then why someone would hire you.
Yeah, thank you. So yeah, I do. I think it definitely is an embracing of what really already is. You are African, you are black, and loving it and being proud of it. Because we've been lied about it. It's the beginning of the most intelligent human beings to ever be. And it is a rich, oh my gosh, the rich culture, the rich resources and minerals that come from the continent. It's a place to be in love with. And you're that. So you're so cool. You're that. And I think why I would say, why would you pick me to work with? I'm passionate about it. I love it. And like I said, I'm bringing in everything. How do you want to feel? What kind of lifestyle do you want to lead? What's in your life that you don't want to be there? So I talk about furniture placement and why it's there, the masks and what they are, and not to be afraid. So many people say, oh, somebody told me I want African masks, but I grew up Christian and I was told that those are evil. Somebody just told me that recently, and that I want them, but that part of me still, so I kind of help you along. Like I am still I'm a therapist, right? I'm a counselor. I am a holistic practitioner. And I bring that into the Afrocentric home decor. There's going to be some pushing. You're going to be resistant in some ways. But you're going to be so glad that you did something different and that you went for what your ancestors were calling you to do. So I bring in a historical context. I bring in a spiritual context. I bring in a cultural context. It's a different kind of decorating. I've never seen anybody do it, and I've never seen anybody think about it that way, but the way my husband and I think about it and talk about it all the time. So, and I'm one of y'all. I'm just like you, a black African woman in the diaspora loving herself. And if you're not that yet, you will be after you call me to design your space. So thank you y'all so much, and thank you so much again for this holiday season special. So my husband, I think he got something else for me.
I have one more question.
Yes.
You mentioned style.
Yes, that's right.
Now, I know your channel, say it again.
Afrocentric home decor and style.
So that means if I have a friend of the female persuasion, I could have her call you and you could help her with her personal clothes and design.
Personal clothes, design. And yeah, you know why it's so important too? Because people think that African patterns and prints are for Kwanzaa or the Emancipation Day or the ones February, Black History Month, and it's not. it's just like your home is not a style that you get tired of. As far as I'm saying, Afrocentricity, you can change it up and around. It's so you'll never have every piece in the world of Afrocentric item. So bored is the least that you're gonna be, right? But people think that about the clothes too. They say, oh, it's African clothes are for a Black History Month, like I said. And what I find is, because I wear mine, at least something African every day, whether it's a head wrap, a beautiful patterned dress, some bracelets, earrings, necklaces, all of this, Afrocentric, African. People stop me and some of them are not even African, because they are so amazed. They want that too. You want that too. As a Black person, a lot of times, a lot of our moods, our depressions, our sadness is because we're African living in such a Eurocentric world that says everything is grays and dark colors. Don't wear your colors. That's depressing for us. Don't wear your patterns. Remember, I told you that African patterns have meaning. They're for good luck or prosperity and abundance. So you're wearing your prosperity, your good luck, your abundance. You're wearing your spirituality, even your religion. When you think about Adinkra symbols, that's kind of like a religion almost. That's a way to stay pure and clean throughout the world. It's like a talisman. It's a family crest. It's a protection. Your clothes are the protection for you. So when you're not wearing your clothes, you're not wearing your protection. When you're not having your mask, you're not having your protection as an African person. So you got to stay protected. So everything down to the red jasper beads, marla, all of it is ours. And when we're not wearing it, we like for y'all that's Christian, it's like Samson and his hair was cut off. He lost his power. So the importance of this, people don't know why they stop me on the street. People don't know why. They think it's just the color or the style, and that's fine because it's that too. It's African, and African is all of it. But it's a way to improve your life, yourself, your business, your relationships. It's magical. So Afrocentric, and this year, 2018, I'm gonna actually make sure I change it on the YouTube to say Afrocentric Home Decor and Style, because I always say it, but now it's gonna be written. So let it be written, so let it be done. I hope you enjoyed the show. Love you so much. This is Lisa Marie Goodson. Join us, because I think we'll make the interview last. So join us in 2018, where we're going to start talking about Ujamaa, cooperative economics, and why you as a Black person should think about having your own business. It's going to be a very powerful show, and I love you so much. Happy Kwanzaa, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and take good care of yourself. This is Lisa Marie Goodson of the Afrocentric Home Decor and Style channel, and In Our Own Image. Peace and blessings.